Good evening, everyone. It is so, actually, I can't really see anyone. There's these bright lights flashing in my eyes, but I could tell everyone is here. The audience is filled. I'm so delighted to see so many people here tonight. My name is Oliver. I have the very, very great pleasure and privilege of serving as the city manager for the city of Monrovia. And I'm so delighted to see so many people here tonight to attend and listen to the state of our city. Been with the community now a couple of months, and I just, each and every day I tell my wife, Bobby Jo, how blessed we feel to be here and be part of a community that's so unique and so special. And tonight, the city council and the mayor will have an opportunity to really run through some of the many great accomplishments that the city has been able to coordinate during the past year, and also outline as we move ahead into 2015 some of our key priorities. So without any further ado, everyone, if you're okay, we'd like to go ahead and get started with our 2015 State of the City. So first, to kick everything off is one of our city council members who tonight is wearing garb in which I've never, in the last couple of months, seen him wear. He cleans up very nicely. He is our city council member, Tom Adams.
So just for an honest moment, whoops, is that too loud? Don't we look great? Okay, welcome to everyone. There's a few things we need to take care of before the popcorn comes. First and foremost, great thanks to Krikorian Theaters for once again opening up their home to the community. Thank you. And I get the job that I really, really hate, and that's introducing all of the VIPs here, because in my mind, you're all very important people, and I appreciate you all being here. And I didn't make this list, so if there's anybody out there who's not on it, we'll find out who did. Okay, first and foremost, you know who I am. Most of these are in alphabetical order. There's a couple of add-ons, but we have Alice Atkins, our city clerk. Scott Austin from the Planning Commission. Scott. Steve Baker, the man that makes sure all the money's still there. Steve. Diane Balsamo from the MOTAB board. Diane. Alex Blackburn from the council. Rudy. Where's Rudy at? Rudy from Rudy's Restaurant. Rudy's not just a great restaurateur, he also serves on our MOTAB board. Gloria Crudgington, Community Services Commission. Tom Dittmar from our Community Services Commission. See if we can't get through this. Ed Gilliland from the school board. Ed. Nancy Matthews, Community Services Commission. Jeannia Mills, Community Services Commission. Donna Baker's here, Historic Preservation Commission. Hector Elizalde from Congresswoman Napolitano's office. Hector does an incredible job with veterans, and Hector, we appreciate that very much. Thank you. Nancy Bond, this year's chamber president. Nancy. My favorite teacher, Joanne Montgomery, our Citrus Board trustee. Millie Olivas from MOTAB. Becky Shevlin from the Mayor Pro Tem. Larry Spicer from the council. Karen Suarez from the Planning Commission. Brian Ulm, Community Services Commission. Janet Wall, Library Board. Terrence Williams from the School Board. Terrence has promised to take me shopping someday so I can look better. Thank you, Terrence. And last but not least, Corinne Crehan, the CEO of the Monrovia Chamber of Commerce. And now I'm going to pass this on to, I believe, Mr. Blackburn, if you would please. Thank you all very much.
I have to lower this down a little bit for me. Thank you all for being here. Some of you have commented that I'm not wearing a tie tonight. That's because Tom bribed me not to in order to create the contrast. So if you would, please rise and join me in a pledge to our flag. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next up, Larry Spicer.
Okay, would you please bow your heads, please? Father God, your spirit unites our city as we face challenges, tragedies, and complex decisions. It is your spirit that transforms us to become the name which our forefathers has given us, Monrovia, Gem City of the Foothills. Father God, your spirit brings us together as a city of neighborhoods, a city where people of many cultures, races, religions, and lifestyles live and work. Father God, your spirit flows through the rich history of our city. Those who have brought us to where we are today inspire us with the vision for a strong, viable, and welcoming city. Father God, your spirit brings us to this moment to move forward with wisdom, courage, and hope. Our city is full of possibilities. Now is the moment to move forward with the vision to make this possibility a reality. May we recognize that our past and our future are integrated and woven together. May our time here this evening be blessed with insight and guided by understanding hearts. May our personal faith give us strength to witness with courage to the challenges before us. May we recognize who and what we can become when we work together for the rights and needs of both individuals and community as a whole. And may the spirit that unites our city set our hearts on fire with wisdom to be told. Loving God, bless our efforts as we strive to be neighborly in our hearts and throughout our cities so that all may be one for the future yet to come. This is my prayer. Amen. I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a warm welcome for our Mayor Pro Tem, Becky Shelton.
Okay. Do I dare? Again, thank you everyone for coming, and I know there's always someone left off the list, but I did want to especially say hi to Kathy Tarosian, our school superintendent. I know she is out in the audience, and I wanted to recognize her. Again, thanks for coming this evening, and thank you to those as well who will be tuning in later for the filmed edition, the taped edition. So tonight we bring you the 2015 State of the City Address, a review of where we've been, where we are now, and where we're going in the future. And with that too, we are also going to introduce some new values that our city manager has brought to us in strategic planning, being humble, hungry, loyal, and smart. And so on that note, I want to introduce our very own Marianne Lutz, who will be presenting our State of the City Address this evening. Thank you very much.
Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the State of the City Address to my fellow Monrovians, my friends, and honored guests. We thank you for being here this evening to take a moment to reflect on where we are in Monrovia. As we delve into 2015, I want to share this thought with you. The state of the city of Monrovia is strong and secure, and the future is great. In Monrovia, greatness is real. Remember that all throughout this year. Greatness is real. It is specific, it is tangible. And as we enter 2015, I am firmly convinced that our city is on a path to renewal that will only serve the greatness that is the city of Monrovia. That's what happens when people play with the mics after you set them. There we go. I want to acknowledge my colleagues that are with us here that I serve on the City of Council with, and I'm very proud to serve with these people. Our Mayor Pro Tem, Becky Shevlin. Councilmember Tom Adams. Councilmember Alexander Blackburn. Councilmember Larry Spicer. My comments here tonight are in fact addressing what we have accomplished together as a group, not as individuals, but as a team. Your team Monrovia is dedicated to improving this beloved community. I also want to acknowledge our city clerk, Alice Atkins, and our city treasurer, Steve Baker. These are extraordinary human beings who devote their time and give their talents to make this community great. And as I look out in the audience, I also see members of our school board this evening that you've been introduced to. And I am so grateful for the incredible impact that you have on our youth in developing the leaders of tomorrow. And I see our commissioners and our board members, the Planning Commission, Community Services Commission, Historic Preservation, Old Town Advisory Board, our Library Board, the Teen Advisory Board, and Youth Commission. Thank you so much for all of your service. Our volunteers and our service club members, I see you sitting out here tonight. Thank you for the volunteerism that you dedicate and the countless hours you dedicate to the service of Monrovia. I see Rotarians, Kiwanians, the Knights of Columbus, Quota Club, and I see our MAP leaders. I thank all of you for the time and the energy and the talents that you have so selflessly committed to our community. And I see many of our teachers and the school district staff here tonight. It is with great passion that you have invested your energy and your time and your resources in our future, the youth. And as I think about when we hand our future off, I'm comforted in knowing that the next generation is being well trained, well coached, well educated, and well taken care of. And I see in our audience tonight many of our business leaders and entrepreneurs. You chose Monrovia. You saw the potential, and you chose to invest your business and your time in this city. And we thank you for that. And we commit to you our support, and we appreciate everything that you've done to help us build our community. And I see our city employees here tonight. You all work tirelessly each and every day to fulfill our mission of existing to serve the people of Monrovia in creating a community that offers a premier quality of life. Thank you for serving the community of Monrovia. Thank you for being humble and hungry and loyal and smart. And last but definitely not least, Corey Lutz, my husband of 35 years. Thank you for all of your support and your non-ending love and encouragement. Before we begin painting a picture of where we are headed and where we are moving forward in 2015, I would like to take just a moment to reflect on where we've been and what we've done during this past year of 2014. As you all know, beginning in 2008, our nation, and indeed the entire world, was mirrored in a global recession, the likes of which we have never seen before. And until this past year, Monrovia, in a lot of ways, has been fighting to survive the impacts of this recession. In true Monrovia fashion, however, we didn't just survive during the recession. We pulled together as a community to collaborate and to work diligently for our city. And the end result is that even in the midst of the greatest economic turmoil, Monrovia has continued to do amazing things. During 2014, despite the tough economic times, we were able to continue to advance key initiatives in Monrovia, and I want to highlight some of those successes of the year for you. First off, despite troubled economic times, our city has continued to maintain a balanced budget. And more importantly, while we have stayed fiscally responsible, we have stimulated investment and stimulated projects and initiatives in our community that are moving Monrovia forward to offer a premier quality of life. It hasn't been easy, but we have proven time and time again that Monrovians can and will rise to any occasion. We are a strong community, and all strong communities, like them, we are not afraid of doing the hard things because we know that we have each other to lean on during these difficult times. These efforts have resulted in an establishment of new facilities in our city, and we have secured multiple grants, and we have set and achieved key community goals, and we are improving our infrastructure in Monrovia. So I'm pleased to have an opportunity tonight to take you through some of those key examples that we actually were able to do this past year. One of the key accomplishments we achieved in this year was establishment of new facilities. Our fire department secured a $1 million grant from Homeland Security funds, and there needed to be no local match. We used these funds to build 2 new facilities in Monrovia. First, we have a new fire training tower, and it was constructed, and it will provide our firefighters with a tactical training facility unmatched in our region. We've also constructed a smart classroom in Fire Station number 2, which offers the state-of-the-art auditorium that will connect the city of Monrovia's firefighters with firefighters all over the region for real-time training and collaborative efforts. Also in the vein of new facilities, this past year we did renovate and install a brand new Monrovia Police Communications 911 center. This upgraded state-of-the-art system was funded by a $500,000 grant we received. It includes state-of-the-art 911 phone system and an upgraded radio system. This new dispatch center is going to serve the community of Monrovia for many years to come, and it has been paid for through a grant with the California Office of Emergency Management 911 program. And as I mentioned, we were able to build these new public facilities through our efforts of obtaining grant funding. In addition to that money, we were also able to secure new funding facilities in other ways. Other grants we've received include $2,000 for a Cal Humanities War Comes Home grant for our library, $2,500 for the Library Foundation to improve its Wi-Fi access in the library that came from the Library Foundation, $100,000 in grants and donations to library programs and operations, $25,000 for a childhood obesity prevention grant, $3,000 for a natural plant sale at Canyon Park, $26,900 in donations for our library summer reading programs, $250,000 for Julian Fisher Park, and Grant Avenue playground equipment received by donation. The city has used and leveraged this grant money and this equipment that we have to obtain to help us keep focused on developing and upgrading our infrastructure in town. For instance, we made upgrades this past year to the playground equipment at Julian Fisher Park. And the $250,000 grant that we just received, which is from the Safe Neighborhoods Park proposition, will allow us to upgrade 3 basketball courts, also enabling us to put in new lighting. In addition, a bioswale will be constructed for water retention, and landscaping will be upgraded to feature drought-tolerant plants and permeable concrete, and a renovated park sign. In addition to Julian Fisher Park, this past year we were able to upgrade Grand Avenue Park through a donation of gently used playground equipment from Penny Pig Estate Sales. This new playground equipment and security lighting are great additions to this neighborhood park. And the total cost of this project for us was $20,000, just a fraction of what it would cost if we had to purchase new playground equipment. The City Council has also been paying attention to our street and utility infrastructure during this past year. This is one of our key priorities, and we've already begun working on the repairs. We commissioned a sewer and water plans during this last year, and when these studies are complete, we will have a comprehensive look at our utilities infrastructure, along with a plan for making the much-needed improvements. In addition, the City Council has directed our city staff to finalize and develop a comprehensive citywide street improvement plan. Within the next several months, we'll be unveiling the master plan to upgrade and fix our streets, curbs, gutters, and sidewalks all throughout Monrovia. There's another new infrastructure project that we are in the middle of building, And I'm very personally excited to see this come about. And you may all remember that we had a groundbreaking on September 10th of 2014, where we broke ground for a 30-year dream. You all know the infrastructure project I'm talking about, Monrovia Station Square. The collaboration behind this project is noteworthy. Public agencies from multiple local and regional authorities, private businesses, transportation agencies, and our citizens have all played a part in making the dream that was the Gold Line a project that is now under construction. All of the on-site and off-site work for this project is currently underway, and the overall Station Square project should be completed sometime this summer. And then the trains will follow right behind, and Gold Line will be operational this time next year. And while we work to upgrade our parks and our infrastructure and to welcome the Gold Line, we have, as a city, have continued to focus on economic development and the needs of economic development in our city. And I'm happy to be able to report that in 2014, we did experience a resurgence in economic activity. In total, we welcomed 199 businesses to the city of Monrovia this past year. Yes. Including Blaze Pizza, Minchie's, Fast Five Express Car Wash, and Massage Envy. And the Chamber of Commerce is also experiencing an uptick in their membership. They have 120 new members this year. And in this past year, we saw the city really beginning to complete the disillusionment process of the redevelopment agency. Of particular note, our successor agency, which is the agency that is tasked with winding down redevelopment, has taken its long-range management plan, and it has been adopted by the state of California. And this is noteworthy because we were one of the very first cities in the state to receive this approval of our plan. And it serves to remind us of just one other thing that makes us so exceptional here in Monrovia. Beyond the businesses and beyond the new projects and all the building, what makes Monrovia very special is in fact what we do as a community. Being in Monrovia means that you are in a premier community. And our community celebrations help provide time for us to connect with one another. Key elements that were sponsored or supported by the city this past year include holiday events, the Friday Night Festival, arts events, historic preservation events, Fireman's Pancake Breakfast, Fountain to the Falls, concerts in the park, movies in our neighborhoods, and the MAP Leadership Conference. This brief listing of the community events does not even begin to talk about the classes and the workshops that are provided by our Community Services Department and our community center at the library. And this year, we made it even easier for these activities to be registered. The Community Services Department this past year launched RecPro. It's a program that allows interested individuals to register for classes online. The sense of community that exists in Monrovia can also be tracked with our efforts of our volunteers. We Monrovians get involved. That's where the magic is. It's in our efforts. It's because of the many hands, your hands, that serve, that donate, that feed, that clean, that assist, and that build These efforts taken together is what establishes Monrovia as the brightest gem in the crown that we call San Gabriel Valley. And this past year, our MAP program was running as strong as ever. Our MAP program hosted programs and events throughout all the year to help our residents learn about the community, to learn about local resources, and commission them into being leaders in their homes, in their neighborhoods, in their clubs and churches and workplaces. In total, we had 22 adults and 23 youth graduate from our MAP leadership plan this year. And more than 250 residents were in attendance at the MAP Neighborhood Conference this past year. And as an aside, the MAP Neighborhood Conference in 2015 will be held on April 25th at our community center. And I hope to see you all there as part of Team Monrovia. We also have additional volunteers throughout our entire community in various areas. For example, this year, Canyon Park volunteers and the Reserve Rangers provided more than 10,000 hours of service. They serve us by keeping our trails clear, providing educational walks and programs, and maintaining facilities. The work performed by these individuals oftentimes occur behind the scenes, but the efforts of these volunteers are so appreciated by the thousands of people who visit our Canyon Park every year. We also have a cadre of committed volunteers at our amazing library. The library is a community center. It's a place for people to gather. It is so much more than books. Over this past year, we've had 188,000 visitors to our library. That is more than 600 people per day who make the Monrovia Public Library part of their regular routine. And the volunteers are the foundation of this city. And without the countless hours of service that they provide, our library could not function. This year, the service hours provided by our volunteers exceeds 8,000, the total contribution equaling approximately $140,000 of personnel savings. Because of the great work, the innovative programming, and exceptional partners, our library has received Beacon Media's Reader's Choice Gold Award this year. From a volunteer perspective, let's not forget the incredible youth in our community, some of whom are with us tonight. Many of these youth attend school, they participate in clubs, they are members of sports teams, but they give back to our community at the same time. This year, 43 teen volunteers contributed about 6,000 hours of service through our Monrovia Youth Commission and our Library Teen Advisory Board. And I know that there are hundreds of hours of Monrovians providing service to this community throughout many groups in our town. From food distribution, to home repair and rehabilitation, to trash pickup, to neighborhood assistance, to tutoring and coaching, and even picking up the litter in their own streets. Your efforts are what make this community a true community. To all of you who participate in giving back to this city, we say thank you. Oh, how I wish that there was enough time this evening to tell you all about the many, many wonderful events and activities that take place in our community. If you're interested in learning more about these events or about learning how you can volunteer, you can join the Monrovia Community Coordinating Council. It meets the first Monday of every month, and if you go in with them, they will let you know what is going on in this city. And if you can't meet their meeting, their calendar is also online. So there's no excuse. You can find out what's happening in Monrovia. It is these types of programs and these types of volunteers that have kept Monrovia's momentum moving forward. These are not just events or parties in our town. This is where we meet our neighbors. This is where we get involved in something new. We engage in a service project that needs our very own hands. This is where we find our place in our community. This is the Monrovia way. The energy and the momentum generated through all of our events and our volunteerism has helped us pull through these difficult times. And this means when unexpected things happen, we're here for each other. I am sure you will all remember in 2013, the Madison fire that struck our hillsides. It has taken our entire community long-term planning to respond to the aftermath of that tragic event. And our city staff, residents, volunteers, and community organizations have worked together to minimize the fire impacts on our neighborhoods as much as possible. This past year, we've had to deal with K-rails, gravel bags, evacuation centers, and mud removal. And through it all, even though it's been very tough, we have worked together to ensure that our neighborhoods are all taken care of. This sense of community also results when we need to take action, when we're called into service. The drought condition that we have been enduring in the state of California for many years has resulted in us dealing with severe water shortage in 2014. Environmental stewardship is a core belief in the city of Monrovia. And when the state mandated conservation efforts, we were ready. Our existing conservation efforts, along with the mandates from the state of California that they developed, has resulted in a 13% reduction of water usage in this community. This sense of environmental stewardship also extends in all other areas of our community, from our efforts to manage our stormwater uses to the plastic bag ban that the council has implemented. On stormwater issues, the existing stormwater permit is without a question one of the most costly and impactful mandates that we have ever been implemented on us. And I want you to know that I am working with Sacramento and Washington, D.C., and mayors all along this country to try to get some common sense into the discussion regarding these regulations. While none of us disagree with the spirit of clean stormwater, it is imperative that as we move forward, these regulations are developed with responsible and in a prudent manner. And speaking of prudent, the city worked to implement our plastic bag ban here in Monrovia. When we did so, we made sure that the development of our local regulations would be done in a manner that would balance the needs of the environment with the needs of our consumers. We took on this issue refined our proposed solution, and ultimately had the courage to implement a proposal that helps enhance our environmental stewardship towards this Earth's natural resources. In addition to being good stewards for the environment, this past year, our city also demonstrated our commitment to being good stewards to our community and our neighborhoods. And I'm talking about historic preservation and neighborhood compatibility. And here in Monrovia, we take those things very seriously. In fact, in 2014, we designated 3 new historical landmarks in town. And that brings our total to 132 historical landmarks in Monrovia. And what's more, given the recent economic uptick and the increased development activity in Monrovia, we wanted to make sure that we had regulations in place that would balance the needs of the property rights of the owners of the land, and with our desire to ensure that our neighborhoods would convey the history of our community. Our efforts to balance this with the competing interests have resulted in the approval of 2 moratoriums. They will allow responsible development to occur while prohibiting complete demolition of any pre-1940s buildings in our residential zones. During this year, we will be working to develop updates to our existing regulations. And I know that it will further promote our historic preservation efforts in allowing our community to develop appropriately as we move forward. The City Council and I are not able to effectuate positive change in Monrovia on our own. It takes a team. Our team, Team Monrovia. I am so pleased that many of our city employees are here tonight. These are not just any employees. Here in Monrovia, we take pride in hiring and developing the best people who will have a commitment and believe in our core values of being humble, being hungry, being loyal, and being smart. These individuals that are tasked with the responsibility of running our city operations on a day-to-day basis are our department heads, and they're with us tonight. And I'd like to take a moment to thank each of them for the work that they're doing to serve Monrovia and the citizens of Monrovia, to create a community that offers a premier quality of life. We have with us our newest department head, Miss Tina Cherry, who serves as our Community Services Director and Interim Public Works Director. Tina, please stand. We have our Fire Chief, Chris Donovan. We have our Police Chief, Jim Hunt. Steve Sizemore serves as our Community Development Director. Mark Alvarado serves as our Administrative Services Director and Assistant City Manager. And finally, we have our new City Manager, Oliver Chee. I started out my remarks this evening by mentioning that here in Monrovia, greatness is real. And to maintain that greatness, we need to build on it. So we must be specific in our developing of our work plans and addressing the situations and the issues facing our community in 2015. Recently, our entire City Council engaged in a goal-setting and strategic planning exercise where we discussed our work plan for 2015. We began this process by discussing what it was we needed to do in the next few years in order to make sure our city achieved success. We believe that the concept of renewal serves as a unifying theme that ties together the most important goals that we need to achieve. Our team drove down through the process of developing the details related to our work plans, and they will be guided by the overarching theme of renewal. We discussed that the fact that in the past several years, we as an organization have survived the Great Recession. We've weathered budget cuts, and we have implemented new ways of serving our community with excellence. And now with the economy improving and with our economic situation stabilizing, we have a unique opportunity to begin this process of renewal throughout all of Monrovia. To that end, our City Council took consideration the work that went into developing and creating Plan Monrovia, the priorities outlined in a newly completed organizational study, and our previously established strategic plans. By analyzing these documents through a lens of renewal, we developed the following 4 strategic goals that we feel will guide our work for the next few years. And these goals include: 1, enhance community infrastructure. 2, enhance organizational capacity. 3, enhance fiscal sustainability. And 4, enhance relationships throughout our community. Each of these 4 goals that we have adopted also have been developed specific work plans and priorities. And I want to highlight some of those for you this evening that we are developing for the next few years. With regard to community infrastructure, there is no doubt we have deferred maintenance issues throughout our town. And the City Council is committed to developing a plan to fix our infrastructure issues. We're developing plans right now to fix our water and sewer lines, and we have plans in place to upgrade our mediums along Huntington Drive. The centerpiece of our community infrastructure plan, however, is the development and implementation of a comprehensive citywide program to fix and renew every street in Monrovia that is in poor condition. We have already begun expending considerable staff resources to develop this plan. And in the coming months, we will be showing you additional projects and details that you will see as we move forward. In addition to the community infrastructure, we have a commitment in the city of Monrovia to be good stewards of our public's money. To that end, we're working on development plans and programs to renew certain elements of our organizational systems and to ensure that the city is its most efficient, most effective, the best city that it can be. We are also in the process right now of developing and updating our economic development strategy to help enhance our fiscal sustainability. With the elimination of redevelopment, we need to rethink and renew our approach to economic development. When I was back in Washington, D.C. recently, I met with the United States Economic Development Agency. And we are now working to develop plans to create a science and technology incubator program here in town. There are many elements that we still need to be working with and that will move this along, but we are committed here in Monrovia to grow the high-tech sector of our economy. And if it is successful, it means better jobs. And better jobs mean more income from folks to spend money in Old Town and Huntington Oaks. Another focus for us this next year is working to enhance and renew our relationships between the city's law enforcement staff and the community. And I'm sure that you watched the events that unfolded in Ferguson and in New York with great concern. In fact, during my most recent trip to Washington, D.C., I participated in several panel discussions at the Conference of Mayors, where we discussed ways where we can implement more effective community policing programs throughout the country. And I'm happy to report that the Monrovia Police Department has in place already nearly all of the recommended best practices that we need to make sure that we are interfacing well with our residents. And today, Monrovia enjoys one of the lowest crime rates in San Gabriel Valley, and in fact, the lowest crime rate Monrovia has seen in decades. However, in the past several years, there have been a variety of actions taken by the state that have threatened to erode the good progress that we have made. First, we have AB 109, realignment that was put in place in 2011. This severely impacted our ability to ensure that criminals stay behind bars. Furthermore, over the years, the juvenile probation programs have been cut out. The definition of what constitutes a crime has been reduced in scope. And then, of course, the events of Ferguson and New York. They have all made us and reminded us that we need to stay constantly vigilant in the monitoring of how we ensure safety in our community. With all of these changes that have occurred and all of the things that we see in front of us, we have taken to rethink and renew our commitment to community policing. Our team here at the Police Department in Monrovia is in the progress of putting together an interdisciplinary group of professionals including law enforcement, community development, code enforcement, neighborhood services, and community members to develop a renewed program to combat and eradicate the increasing levels of blight in Monrovia. And this effort will be performed in true Monrovia fashion, as a team, with collaboration, and in our united efforts to ensure that Monrovia maintains a premier community, we will not fail. I know that just simply wanting Monrovia to achieve greatness will not result in great things for our city. It takes hard work, collaboration, courage, and daring leadership. To achieve greatness, I'm reminded of a quote by James Lamb, who said, "The road to success leads through the valley of humility. The path is up a ladder of patience and across a wide, barren plains of perseverance. And yet, no shortcut has been discovered." And what that means to me is that we must work together. We need to focus on the what, not the who. It means that in our plan forward, we must focus on our hopes and our dreams, not our fears and limitations. It means that we must continue to march with courage for our community. I am confident and I am committed in looking forward to the future because I know that together we can change the world that is Monrovia for the better, because we are Monrovia, because greatness is real.